why Jack Dorsey is in the White House having a meeting with Trump.
Right, where they can't get rid of extreme right Twitter accounts because it might affect some of the Republican base.
They get rid of the racists, they're going to have less Twitter subscribers.
Yeah.
So obviously he can claim, oh, I believe in freedom of speech, and obviously I won't, be biased against anyone. When really in society,
what if I told you a pair of gloves could predict the presidency? Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up, Buttercup, because Sacha Baron Cohen's ice cream gloves just became the hottest political forecasting tool of the century.
It was good. Well, I was the first person actually to realize that he's a dick. I was like, yo, Donald, what is the most popularist thing in the world? And he was like, music? I go, no, ice cream. These new means of proliferating.
Yeah.
Twitter, Trump without Twitter probably would not have become president.
Right.
Which is why
he was accosted by this moron, and I didn't like it. I didn't like what.
In this video, we're diving into how Trump's response to a wacky comedy bit became a sneak peek of his future Twitter tirades. It's like The Apprentice meets Nostradamus, but with more spray tan and fewer coherent sentences. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Picture this. A guy in a tracksuit strolls into Trump's office with an invention so silly, it makes the pet rock look like the iPhone. Yep, we're talking about the infamous ice cream glove pitch. Now, you might think Trump, the self-proclaimed business genius, would spot this joke from a mile away. But oh boy, did our orange friend fall for it hook, line, and sinker. So there's Sacha Baron Cohen, disguised as his character Ali G, ready to pitch the most ridiculous product since, well, Trump steaks. And what does our future president do? He sits there listening to this nonsense for a whole 7 minutes.
And I go, what is the problem with ice cream? And he goes, it melts. I go, so what is my invention? He goes, non-melting ice cream? I go, that is actually a wicked idea.
7. That's longer than his attention span for intelligence briefings, folks. I guess when it comes to ice cream, Trump's all ears. Now let's talk about the pitch itself. Ali G asks Trump what's wrong with ice cream. Trump's groundbreaking answer? It melts. Wow, give that man a Nobel Prize in ice cream science. But wait, it gets better. Ali G suggests his revolutionary ice cream glove, and Trump, not to be outdone, counters with non-melting ice cream. It's like watching two kids argue over who has the best imaginary friend. But here's the kicker. Trump later claimed he saw through the act immediately. Yeah, right. And I'm the Queen of England. Cohen spilled the beans, revealing that Trump sat there for those full 7 minutes, probably thinking he was about to make the deal of the century. It's like watching a cat chase a laser pointer. Amusing, but kinda sad. This whole ice cream fiasco exposes Trump's inflated sense of business smarts, like a pin to a very orange balloon. I mean, who sits through a pitch for an ice cream glove and thinks, this could be the next big thing? Our former president, that's who.
Watching it, and a lot of other people felt the same way, and the security guard should be ashamed of him. He was a pathetic security guard.
I think that was his security guard, though.
I don't know whose guard it was. I don't think it was. Actually, Ryan said it was not his.
But hold on to your MAGA hats, folks, because this silly pitch showed us more about Trump than any serious interview could. It's like a window into the mind of a man who would later embrace Twitter as his political weapon of choice. You can almost see the wheels turning in his head. If I can sell steaks and vodka, why not ice cream gloves? Cohen, in his classic style, couldn't resist poking fun at the whole situation. He sarcastically praised Trump's non-melting ice cream idea as wicked, probably while trying not to burst into laughter. It's like watching a master comedian at work, with Trump as his unwitting sidekick. But the real gem came later when Cohen reflected on the incident. He quipped, "The man who would later become president couldn't outsmart a guy in a tracksuit talking about melting desserts. Ouch, that's gotta sting more than brain freeze from eating ice cream too fast." And let's not forget, this goofy moment was just the appetizer in the Trump comedy feast. Little did we know that this ice cream glove incident would foreshadow Trump's later behavior in politics. You know, where he often dismisses serious critiques and instead focuses on absurdities. It's like he took the ice cream glove concept and applied it to his entire presidency. Well, folks, it turns out that ice cream gloves aren't just a wacky invention. They're also a crystal ball for predicting presidencies. Who knew? Certainly not Nostradamus, that's for sure. But our boy Sacha Baron Cohen, he's got a knack for seeing the future, especially when it comes to a certain orange-tinted politician. Remember how Trump couldn't handle a little joke about melting desserts? Well, that was just the first scoop in a whole Sunday of political shenanigans. And let me tell you, the flavor of this Sunday is anything but sweet. So picture this. The same guy who got his ego bruised by a comedian in a tracksuit now has access to nuclear codes. It's like giving a toddler the keys to a candy store, except the candy store is actually the entire country. Yikes! Trump's ego, more fragile than a waffle cone on a hot day, couldn't handle a simple prank. But hey, why stop at rewriting the history of a 7-minute meeting when you can rewrite the whole dang country's history, right? Alternative facts? Anyone. Now, here's where it gets really wild. The man who couldn't outsmart Ali G decided to make Twitter his personal playground. And boy, did he play. It's like he took that ice cream glove and used it to type out 280 character rants at 3 a.m. Progress. Well, that depends on how you feel about foreign policy being decided by hashtags and all caps. But here's the kicker, and this is where Cohen really nailed it. Trump might have dismissed a silly glove, but he embraced Twitter like it was the holy grail of politics. Cohen pointed out that Trump without Twitter probably would not have become president. Can you imagine a world where the most powerful man is chosen based on, I don't know, actual qualifications instead of how many followers he has? Crazy talk. Trump's Twitter strategy was like a personal propaganda machine. He bypassed traditional media faster than you can say fake news and went straight for the jugular. Or should I say straight for the thumbs of millions of Americans. Every tweet was like a little campaign ad, beamed directly into people's phones. It's like he took the concept of door-to-door campaigning and said, nah, too much walking. Let's do phone-to-phone instead. And let's not forget the best part, or worst part, depending on how you look at it. Cohen hit the nail on the head when he said we're living in a post-truth world. It's like reality has become a buffet where you can load up your plate with whatever facts look tastiest to you. Don't like broccoli? No problem. Just pretend it doesn't exist and fill up on alternative fact candy instead. So there you have it, folks. From ice cream gloves to Twitter rants, we've seen quite the journey. Who would have thought that a silly prank could predict a presidency that's more dramatic than a soap opera, more confusing than a Christopher Nolan movie, and more unpredictable than, well, than Trump's next tweet? Remember when Twitter was just a place to share what you had for lunch? Well, those days are long gone, folks. Now it's more like a digital coliseum where politicians duke it out 280 characters at a time. And who's the star gladiator? None other than our tweets before thinking president, Donald Trump. But here's the kicker. Twitter's found itself in a real pickle. They've got a problem, and it's orange, loud, and types in all caps. Imagine being Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey heading to the White House for a chat with Trump. Talk about awkward. It's like trying to have a serious conversation with a toddler who's just discovered the joys of finger painting on your brand new white couch. So what's a social media platform to do when its biggest user is also its biggest headache? It's like trying to babysit a kid with nuclear launch codes and a Twitter addiction. You can't exactly put him in timeout, can you? Enter Sacha Baron Cohen, dropping truth bombs like it's hot. He pointed out that Twitter's business model is basically a digital fight club. You know the first rule of Fight Club, right? Well, Twitter's first rule seems to be, the more drama, the better. Cohen said Twitter thrives on controversy. It's like they're serving up piping hot tea, extra spicy 24/7. But here's where it gets sticky. Twitter claims to be all about free speech. But who gets to decide what speech is too free? It's like they're playing a game of how offensive is too offensive and with the world watching. And let's be real, when it comes to Trump, that line keeps moving faster than a cat chasing a laser pointer. Cohen spilled some serious tea about a meeting between Jack Dorsey and Trump. Apparently, Twitter was scared to death of losing their right-wing users. It's like they're stuck between a rock and a hard Trump. They want to keep the platform safe, but they also don't want to lose half their user base. Talk about a digital dilemma. Now, you might be thinking, why don't they just ban Trump? Well, as Cohen humorously put it, imagine that tweet storm. It'd make Kofuf look tame. Can you picture it? Trump, banned from Twitter, probably start sending his tweets via carrier pigeon. Or maybe he'd just shout them from the White House lawn. Either way, it'd be a spectacle. Cohen summed up Twitter's predicament perfectly. Jack's stuck between a Trump and a hard place. How do you keep Twitter's rules without losing its ruler? It's like trying to put a leash on a hurricane. Good luck with that, Jack. But here's the real kicker. In trying to police Trump, Twitter's exposed its own flaws and biases. It's like they've been caught with their digital pants down. They're scrambling to figure out how to handle a president who treats their platform like his personal megaphone. And guess what? This Twitter drama is just the tip of the misinformation iceberg. Cohen warned that this whole mess is leading to something way scarier than just some spicy tweets. He said, and I quote, "Democracy is being disintegrated, and that's terrifying for me." Yikes. That's like saying our political system is being put through a paper shredder, one tweet at a time. Well, folks, it looks like we've entered a whole new era of reality TV, but instead of keeping up with the Kardashians, we're now stuck with keeping up with the conspiracies. Welcome to what Sacha Baron Cohen calls the post-truth age, where facts are as optional as pants in a Zoom meeting. Remember when finding the truth was easier than finding a flattering angle for Trump's spray tan? Those were the good old days. Now, we're living in a world where your conspiracy-loving uncle and CNN have equal credibility. It's like reality, but with more options. You can pick and choose your facts like you're at an all-you-can-eat buffet of baloney. In this topsy-turvy world, finding actual facts is harder than finding a Trump tweet without typos. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack, except the haystack is on fire, and the needle is tweeting about how the fire is fake news. Now, get this. Cohen says the internet is an even bigger deal than the Industrial Revolution. It's messier than a toddler's first spaghetti dinner, and has more drama than a soap opera marathon. This digital wonderland has made spreading lies easier than ever. No need for flyers or door-to-door salesmen anymore. All you need is Wi-Fi and a complete lack of conscience. Cohen warns that giving all voices an equal platform is like inviting the class bully to be the hall monitor. It's a recipe for disaster, or as Trump would call it, a very good recipe. The best recipe. Everybody's talking about it. Wait, but here's the kicker. In this post-truth society, a simple Twitter account can spread lies faster than Usain Bolt on roller skates. Cohen points out that it's way more effective than old-school methods like flyers or ads. It's like comparing a paper airplane to a fighter jet. One might give you a paper cut, but the other can start a war. And speaking of wars, the battle for truth is getting messier than a food fight in a ketchup factory. The line between credible sources and Uncle Bob's conspiracy blog has gotten blurrier than Trump's vision without his reading glasses. It's like playing Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? But all your lifelines are pathological liars. Cohen argues that this isn't just annoying, it's downright dangerous. He says our democracy is being eroded faster than a sandcastle at high tide. It's like we're living in a giant game of opposite day, where alternative facts are the new black and the truth is so last season. But don't worry, folks. Cohen's got a secret weapon up his sleeve, and it's not an ice cream glove this time. It's laughter. That's right, he thinks humor might be our best defense against this tidal wave of lies. It's like fighting fire with fire, except the fire is actually a whoopee cushion. Cohen's using his comedic superpowers to expose the absurdity of this post-truth world. He's like a one-man truth squad, armed with nothing but a tracksuit and a killer sense of humor. He's suggesting that maybe, just maybe, we can laugh our way back to reality. So there you have it, folks. From ice cream gloves to alternative facts, we've seen how a simple prank predicted a presidency that's been melting faster than a popsicle in the Sahara. But let's not forget the real hero of our story, comedy. As Sacha Baron Cohen put it, he likes to push it to the edge just before a punch or a gun is pulled out. And boy, did he push Trump's buttons with that glove pitch. Next time you're enjoying an ice cream, remember, it might melt, but the truth shouldn't, unless you're living in Trump's world where facts are as flexible as a rubber band and tweets are more powerful than nuclear codes. And if you see a guy in an ill-fitting suit tweeting about non-melting ice cream, maybe it's time to log off and go touch some grass. After all, in this post-truth age, sometimes a good laugh is our best defense against the avalanche of baloney. Just don't forget your ice cream glove.